What's up, everybody? It's your boy Al. It's been a minute. Got a new look, new do. Cut the beard down, the hair down a little bit. So, working with something new here. Been wanting to talk about this Johnathan Issac thing for a minute. Young man who refused to kneel for in the basketball game, didn't wear Black Lives Matter shirt, and unfortunately had an injury that was weird. Ended season in the same week. Um, a lot of people been really not knowing how to take a black man who doesn't kneel during the national anthem, and his response really can't be attacked in in a sense where if you're a Christian, you've been always taught and you believe that the gospel and Jesus Christ is the answer to all the world's issues. I truly believe that. To start, I'm not 100% in agreement with everything Black Lives Matter stands for. When you look at their bylaws or their mission statement, some of the things that they are aimed to take down, traditional families, um, uh, traditional gender roles, and things of that nature. I'm not on board with everything they stand for. Um, and so with that, if somebody was to take that stance and say I'm not down with Black Lives Matter because I'm not down with everything they stand for, and a lot of their rhetoric and a lot of their mission is anti-Christian, anti-gospel, um, anti-traditional family, and as a minister, a pastor, believe in Jesus Christ, I'm not down with that. But as for the young man Johnathan Isaacs, the statement he made, first of all, I think one of the things that people in media need to understand is you can't treat black people so simplistic. We're not simpletons. He didn't kneel in the report asking, well, don't you believe Black Lives Matter? Just because you don't kneel and you're a black man doesn't believe you don't believe Black Lives Matter. You can't make us so simplistic and so simple. Don't treat any other race or nationality or people like that. So please don't be so simplistic when it comes to us, our feelings, and our emotions. Know that this young man has more behind his stance than not believing Black Lives Matter. So shame on the reporter for trying to treat the young man as such a simpleton. But then there's his statement and what he said about um, basically he believes the answer is the gospel and he believes Black Lives Matter, but he believes that, in his Christianity and um, believing in the Lord Jesus Christ is the answer. And like I said again, I do believe that. But here's the issue with his statement or his belief or the practice or the lack thereof. Um, Too often in this country, the history in this country, too often is that the gospel of Jesus Christ is the retroactive answer and not the proactive answer. What I mean by that is generally the history in this country, particularly between white and blacks, have been that blacks have to believe Jesus is the answer and the gospel is the answer after something horrific has happened to them at the hands of whites or whoever. And we always have to lean on Jesus after the perpetuators of said crime neglected to be Christians from the outset. So I believe that Jesus is the answer, but I believe that what Johnathan Isaac should make known and everybody should make known is that I believe that Jesus is the answer, but Jesus has to be the proactive answer, not the retroactive answer. Jesus can only be the answer for black people after we've been grossly um, mistreated or suffered great injustices, and then people look to us to be Christians. Jesus has to be the answer proactively for my white brothers and sisters. Jesus can't be the answer after you've made a phone call to the police saying somebody black's in my neighborhood and they don't look like they can afford to live here. Jesus can't be the answer after you pull the guns on a black assailant and kill him, even though he doesn't have a weapon. Jesus can't be the answer after you've viciously attacked black people or verbally attacked or showed up at barbecues and parties and pools and everything else to ask black people why are they doing here, what are they doing here, why are they here, what are they doing, and wanting them to leave. Jesus has to be the answer to stop you from doing all that in the first place. He has to be the proactive answer. And this country has been built, and one of the things that makes a lot of young black people stand off of Christianity is that in their eyes, they see blacks only having to be Christians after whites failed to be so in the first place. And so for a young man like Johnathan Isaacs, I would say yes, Jesus is the answer, but Jesus can't be the retroactive answer. He can't be the reactive answer. He can't be the reactive answer. He has to be the proactive answer. He has to be the answer to keep injustices from happening in the first place. He has to be the answer to make a politician not write uh, racial, socioeconomically biased laws in the first place. Um, and it's just confusing for a lot of people when you see a young man like that stand on Christianity. A lot of blacks, young blacks in this country say, well, how can you still stand on Christianity after what you've seen? But if Christianity is practiced the way it's supposed to be practiced, then it's a huge success. Um, if Christianity is lived the way it's intended to be lived. See, Christianity was never intended by Christ to be lived by just part of the parties. One of the reasons why the Apostle Paul pens his Gospels is to show saved people how to live amongst each other. He's basically saying, in order for this thing to work, we who believe in Jesus got to live, worship, pray, and exist amongst one another. We have to do it in a manner in which Christ would approve. That's the only way the gospel and can spread. That's the only way um, Christ or the church can grow. It's the only way the gospel can be spread. So when you have just one said party who believes in Jesus and is trying their hardest to practice, and another said party who says they believe in Jesus, but you know, everything that is acted upon, every action that takes place doesn't mirror Christianity, then Christianity doesn't work. It doesn't. The only way this works is if we as whites and blacks and everyone in between are Christians together. We can't only as blacks be Christians after a heinous act. We can only be Christians after blacks have been killed in the street. We can only be Christians after that. You have to be Christians, white American brothers and sisters have to be Christians before that. You have to be Christians to prevent those kind of things from happening. You can't say I'm a Christian if you're white and you clutch your purse, when you get on the elevator next to me. You can't say, I'm a Christian and I'm, holding up the bloodstained banner and I believe that Jesus is the answer. But 5 minutes later, hello, police. There's some black people walking down the street in this neighborhood or jogging down the street in this neighborhood. That you don't believe Jesus is the answer if you do that kind of stuff. You don't. You believe in Jesus is the answer prevents you from doing those things. You believe in Jesus is the answer lets you see somebody no matter what they look like and see Christ in them. Too often or for too long, Christianity in this country has been a comfort religion. Too many of our white brothers and sisters have been Christians only if it's in the comfort or the confines of what they're comfortable with. They're comfortable with Christianity as long as it allows them to be atop of the socioeconomic ladder. And if anything threatens that, then I won't be Christian until I restore that order. I will cease to be Christian. And it's for a lot of minorities and black people. You ask yourself, where have the Christian acts been for so long? You slaughter Native Americans, enslave black people, treat them harshly. Post Jim Crow, post slavery, there comes Jim Crow, and all of these things happen to black people and Native Americans that are so anti-Christian. And it's if you can see what's happening or what has happened, you see blacks as slaves, released but treated harshly, less than whites. Jim Crow established. Um, Blacks trying to get along and live, establishing colonies and communities, not colonies, but communities, having them bombed and race riots, destroyed them, ensuring that blacks would always be socially, economically under whites. The communities, black communities, flooded with cocaine and crack to fund the war um, in South America, which plunged a lot of black lives and families into the toilet, criminalizing um, crack cocaine more so than cocaine, because crack cocaine was predominant in black neighborhoods, and taking a lot of black males out of the community and putting them in jail, locking them up for many, many years, tearing down a black family. Um, all of those things which led and contributed to the destruction of the black community, ensuring that there would be no neighborhoods that you pass through and see, $2-3 million homes and say that these neighborhoods are predominantly black. There, there, there are no neighborhoods, and there are a lot of predominantly wealthy neighborhoods in Houston, or in the greater Houston area. You have, the Woodlands, you have Kingwood, you have Sugarland, you have River Oaks, you have Cypress area, you have Spring area, you have the Tomball area that's growing, you have the Conroe area that's growing. Pass through any neighborhood where the homes are really, really nice in this city or in any city, and find the communities that are predominantly like that are predominantly black. There are none. How is it that blacks and whites have been on the same landmass for over 400 years, and all or predominantly all of the neighborhoods that have homes like that are predominantly white? If we've been on the same landmass for that many years together, then there should be some predominantly black millionaire neighborhoods or upper middle class neighborhoods, and there are very few to none. And you have to understand that there have been a lot of anti-Christian activity that has helped establish or make sure that things remain in that state of being. And for a lot of people like myself, to see some whites claim Christ or talk about Christianity or Jesus' answer, now that we live in a country where things look the way they look, um, how convenient. How convenient now. Like, how convenient is it now to be Christians when you drive through your neighborhoods and see, $500,000 to $3 million homes, and everybody lives there is white, except for maybe one or two people, and the one or two people who are not white, you look at funny. And I believe that until Christianity is lived fully by everyone who says they're a Christian, it won't work. I understand there'll be, none of us are perfect. There'll be backsliders. There'll be people who can't do it 100% of the time. All of us sin, fall short of the glory. Yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, there needs to be a greater effort to make Christianity a proactive religion and not a reactive religion. Christianity can't be reactive. It has to be proactive. Can't only be Christians after tragedy. We have to be Christians to prevent tragedy. Yes, you have to be Christians after tragedy too, but a lot of tragedy, calamities, and things could be prevented if Christianity was proactive as opposed to reactive. So I stand with, young man Johnathan Isaac. I believe Black Lives Matter. I believe that you can believe Black Lives Matter and not 100% get down with everything the movement stands for. But at the same time, I do believe that Christ just can't be the answer for times like now. Christ must be the answer to prevent times like now. And it's going to take all of us, not just a few of us. So join in and fight the good fight. Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to click subscribe, notifications. I'm going to be back on. I got a couple more things I want to address. I got to get my thoughts together because I really want to talk about some stuff. So I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.